Alright, morning guys, welcome to part 4. So yesterday was front grille, some bloody random hoses, upper control arms either side, heat shield, and just a couple of random bits and bobs. Currently invested 7 hours into this and hasn't really changed much in the last 4 hours, so yeah, I'm just going to keep plodding along today. I've decided now that I'm just going to literally go step by step as to what the procedure says, rather than trying to focus on a top section or a bottom section, because I think there's a bit of method to their madness with how you remove stuff. So yeah, all I've got to do, the first up is the other power steering hose, and then I've got to go over and start removing the fuel filter housing. And then once all that's done, I just had a quick tidy up, packed away my tools and stuff again. I know it's not, I know there's still stuff everywhere, but I reckon with big jobs, especially if you're not in a rush, like, just keep your work area clean. If you're anything like me, I end up getting wild when I start tripping over stuff, and I trip over stuff like all the time. Flat surfaces are like my kryptonite. Can't walk on a flat surface. So for me, it's quite important to keep any trip hazards free, but just makes your job a bit more pleasant to work on. So every day I've just been having a good clean up before starting again, just so I sort of start from scratch. And yeah, alright, I'll do them jobs. I've been rambling on too long. Alright, so that's fuel filter off and that power steering hose I've done before. If you are interested in a proper description on the fuel filter, there is a video on it in my channel, in the Land Rover High 2s. Basically you just got 4 hoses that you need to squeeze together like this to pop off. An 8mm bolt which clamps the filter like this and holds it into position, and then these mounting brackets you don't really need to touch. I'm just pulling them off for more space, but if you did want to pull that bracket off, it's 10mm. So yeah, I'm just going to go read the manual now, see what's next. So next up is remove exhaust system. So yeah, probably just going to remove the downpipe off of the turbo, and then there's a joiner just before the cat, so or is it just after the cat? Either way, there's a joiner down there, so I'll be just popping it off, hopefully. I might not be able to actually, I might need to slide the rest of the exhaust back. Oh well. Alrighty guys, so dump pipe's out, drive shaft's off, completely removed. What a prick that is to get off. Oh, my torch has gone flat. So the drive shaft, to get that off, you need to drop this whole cross member, but keep the transfer case up in the air. So yeah, drop the cross member down, pop the drive shaft out. Same with the dump pipe. I don't know if someone's got advice, but I couldn't get the dump pipe out of this area without actually taking this cross member out, which doesn't faze me too much. I mean, in all fairness, if you wanted to just mess around with it, you could probably just leave the dump pipe and drive shaft sitting in there, but I mean, like, look at how much room we got for activities now. And if there's one thing I'm learning already, and I haven't even got to the hard stuff yet, is that don't try and take shortcuts to try and save time, because all you're doing is costing yourself time, because you always end up taking off the same part again anyway. So I think, I'm not sure what's next on the step scenario, but I've got 2 dogs which want to be walked, so we're going to go take them for walkies. And then maybe, I think it might be the starter motor up next. Alright guys, so I recommend, like, if you are going to do this job, you need a couple of extra tools rather than your basic ones. Get yourself some long series spanners. These are like 90 bucks. Some ratchet spanners. What have you got going on there? Go inside.
How big is it?
It's pretty. What is it?
A parsnip.
Are you a unicorn? Wow, okay. That's enough for you. Yeah, this ratchet only cost me, like, in a little kit, 90 bucks, and I use it flat out. But I'd say get yourself a little battery ratchet, a set of ratchet spanners, and some long series spanners. That's stuff I recommend for this job so far. You just struggle with normal basic tooling, you're going to need to get a couple of little bit extra stuff, but you're still going to, I suppose, save money maybe. But then, yeah, this also isn't something that you just jump into if you're not very experienced with the mechanical side of things, because you will cost yourself more money than just paying someone else to do it. So that's the turbo support bracket off. It's 2 10mm bolts to the trans and a 13mm nut under the turbo there that you can see. Just going to get this heat shield off of this exhaust crossover pipe, which is just to the left of the crossover pipe there. You'll see an 8mm nut sticking out, or 8mm bolt, and then there's just one more bolt on top of the turbo just there. I'm going to pull off. I think it's only those 2 that hold this in. And then, yeah. yeah, obviously this right hand side exhaust crossover pipe's unbolted, the support bracket's unbolted, left hand side's unbolted as well. 2 of the bolts for the actual exhaust pipe mounting flange are undone, but the top one still needs to be come off, and then apparently there's 2 bolts directly above the transmission there. So far this is definitely the shittest part of this whole job, and I reckon it's probably I reckon this part is by far going to be the worst for the whole scenario, because after this it's just I've still got engine mount bolts as well. That's probably going to be a nightmare. But not having fun anymore. Right, so I just had to make this spanner quickly to get this top flange bolt. I've cracked it off, but now I can literally only move like not even a quarter of a thread at a time. So I'm gonna be here a while, but it's moving. That's all I need. A couple of hundred of those little micro turns and that bolt will be off. 35 minutes later after cracking that bolt, and she's out. So I'm going to try to show you the last 2. I don't know if you'll be able to see or not, but otherwise I'll show you afterwards when the engine's out. But I'm going to show you this torch. So we've got to go up into here, and up there should be 2 bolts in the middle of the bell housing there that need to be removed, so that's what we're trying to get to now. Right guys, so that crossover pipe's out now, the one I showed you in there. So that is 2 10mm bolts, about 80mm long. Took me half hour to get them out. I definitely recommend, if you don't have single hex sockets, to get them, because these bolts are really exceptionally tight, and my single hex sockets are actually locked in the back of my car, which I can no longer open unless I power it back up, because they're in my drawers. So all the doors are unlocked, but not the rear. So I might have to nip down and just buy a cheap set of single hex sockets, because I'm finding it hard with the amount of pressure I got to put on these bolts to not round the heads off, which is getting a real nuisance. At the moment I'm using a 1/4 drive to 3/8 adapter, and then if need be I'm using a quarter drive to 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter, just so I have a single hex socket to crack stuff off with. So yeah, that's definitely something I recommend. Honestly, a battery ratchet, a good set of ratchet spanners, and a set of long series spanners is definitely a must for this job, if you're actually crazy enough to try it. And yeah, working on the floor, it's quite exhausting. Alright, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.